11 of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few pitchers I look to sell and trade this week. The first guy, Jordan Montgomery of the New York Yankees. So what a season it's been for this pitcher rotation here in New York. Montgomery's been great. Hector Cortez, Jameson Taillon, and Montgomery as well as pitcher lights out on the season. 72 and 2/3, 3-1 record, 58 hits, 22 earned runs, 11 walks, 56 strikeouts, 7 quality starts, 2.72 ERA and a 0.95 whip. So right here, the numbers have been great. And the last couple weeks for Montgomery as well, a 1.38 ERA and a 0.69 whip. So this Yankee team, the best team in baseball, already with 50 wins on the year here. And they're not going to slow down anytime soon. And Montgomery's been a big part of it. And he's pitched good ball games. I know the last 2 out of 3 outings have been versus weak teams. And he's taken advantage of it. His next outing's here tonight at the Tampa Bay Rays. But right here, a lot of innings on his arm already this season with the 72 and 2/3. I know last season he pitched over 150 innings while Montgomery, but I just don't think it's going to hold up in the tough division. And like I mentioned, this guy, he hasn't gone more than 150 innings last season, which was his career high. So June 5th versus Detroit, 6 1/3, no decision, 5 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 5 Ks, a quality start. June 11th versus the Cubs, 7 innings, got the win in that one. 5 hits, no runs, 5 Ks, a quality start. And June 17th at the Toronto Blue Jays, 6 innings, got the win in that one. 3 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 5 Ks in that ball game, and a quality start. So Montgomery, he's been on some tear, especially with the quality starts in the last 5 games in a row here. He's pitching great, no doubt about it. But like I mentioned, some very easy matchups over the last few outings. May 19th was Baltimore, May 24th Baltimore, May 31st the Angels, June 5th Detroit, June 11th the Cubs, and then June 17th at a tough Toronto team. He pitched well, but besides Toronto, all those teams arguably are some bad teams hitting the baseball. So right now with the schedule getting a little bit tougher and him in a tough division where he's going to verse more division rivals here is Montgomery. I don't think these numbers are going to hold up, especially an ERA under 3 in the AL East and an ERA under 2 within the last couple weeks. So right now, while he's pitching great baseball, I think I could sell Montgomery off for a good starting pitcher with more upside, or him in a 1-for-1 deal for an everyday, obviously, bat that's playing good baseball. Obviously, you don't dump him for anything, but if the right trade's out there, you definitely do it. The next guy's Taijuan Walker of the New York Mets. So Walker, he got off to a great start last season as well and made the All-Star team. But second half of the year, he fizzled out and fell apart and was just total opposite what he was of the first half on the season. 59 and a third, 5-2 record, 52 hits, 19 earned runs, 17 walks, 44 strikeouts, and 4 quality starts with a 2.88 ERA and a 1.16 whip. So Walker, I mentioned him as a pickup this week here, but he's still available surprisingly in 45% of leagues. But what would be better than pick a guy up, flip him for a more consistent player? And these are the type of deals you want to do in your fantasy league. So Walker, the last few outings, he's had some pretty good matchups as well, except June 7th at the Padres, 6 innings, got the loss, 5 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks in that one. June 12th at the Angels, been one of the worst teams in the last month here, losing 14 in a row at one point. 6 innings, got the win, 6 hits, a run, a walk, 10 Ks, a quality start. And June 18th versus the Marlins, one of the worst hitting teams overall in the league. 6 2/3, got the win in that one. 2 hits, a run, a walk, 9 Ks, a quality start. So right here, Walker, another great matchup he has June 24th at that same Marlin team. So Walker, the last few weeks, strikeouts have gone up in his last 3 ball games here for him. 24 strikeouts, which is very good for Taijuan Walker. But right now, the schedule is going to get tougher as the season goes on. I know Miami, he has once again, but after that, the Mets schedule, it's going to even out. They've had a lot of easy matchups early in the season, and they've definitely taken advantage, being 44 and 24 on the year. But now we'll see as things get tougher if this starting pitching holds up. And I know Max Scherzer will be back as well. But right now, if you could package Walker with someone in a deal, even a 1-for-1 deal, Walker for a hitter, this would be the time to do it, because we saw what happened with him last season. And with the schedule going to get tougher, I would trade him off this week. The next guy is Nick Pivetta of the Boston Red Sox. Nick Pivetta, he's been on some type of run over the last month of the season. On the season here for him, 81 and 2/3, 7-5 record, a complete game under his belt, 60 hits, 30 earned runs, 29 walks, 82 strikeouts, 8 quality starts, 3.31 ERA, and a 1.09 whip. But over the last month here, he's at a 2.31 ERA and a 1.03 whip. So right here, he's pitching great baseball. He got off to the Harvard start early in the year, but you got to give Pivetta props. He's gone out there and pitched great baseball. But another guy who's had pretty easy matchups over the last month of the season. June 8th at the Angels, 5 innings, got the loss, though 6 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 11 Ks. June 14th versus Oakland, 8 innings, got the win, 3 hits, a run, 2 walks, 3 Ks, a quality start. And June 19th, pretty tough matchup versus the Cardinals, 7 innings, got the win, 4 hits, a run, 4 walks, 10 Ks, a quality start. So since May 29th, he's only versed one team over 500 here, is Nick Pivetta. And right now, the schedule is going to get tougher. He's in a tough division in the AL East, obviously, with the New York Yankees, Tampa Bay Rays, and Toronto Blue Jays. He's got one more good outing at the Cleveland Guardians, who surprisingly have been a decent 500 team around the season. But after that, things will most likely get tough here for Nick Pivetta. And I just don't see him holding up these numbers versus those good ball clubs like I mentioned in the AL East. So right now, well, he's probably at peak value. This is a perfect time to sell him off. And I think you could get a good one-for-one deal for Pivetta. The next guy was staying in the AL East, Jeffrey Springs of the Tampa Bay Rays. So Springs, he's come out of nowhere this season here, and he's pitching great baseball, 54 innings, 3-2 record, 40 hits, 20 earned runs, 13 walks, 56 strikeouts, and 2 quality starts, ERA and an 0.98 whip. So right here, Springs, he's pitching great baseball, but he's a guy not really going deep into games. He was more of a swing man early in his career, but now the Tampa Bay Rays have made him a starter, but still, he's only going 5 innings, 5.5 innings max right now. The last couple games here for him, June 12th in Minnesota, 5 1/3, got the win, 2 hits, 2 walks, 5 Ks. June 19th at Baltimore, 4 1/3 in that one he only lasted, 7 hits, 4 runs, a walk, 6 Ks in that ball game. So right here, I would sell him high. Numbers still look good on paper, especially with the 2 ERA in that division and the 0.98 whip. But he's not going deep into games. He's not really getting quality starts, obviously, with only 2 on the season. And right now, he's just not bringing much to the table besides good ERA and good win-loss record. But besides that, you're missing out on a lot of categories with Springs. So if I could flip him in a deal for an everyday hitter, this would be the time to do it, because his schedule most likely will get tough. With more teams in the East he'll be versing, this is a guy that's not going to last with a 2 ERA, and especially only pitching 4 or 5 innings at max, that's not really helping fantasy owners. So right now, while everything looks good and disguised with Jeffrey Springs, before I think it goes the other way, this is a perfect time to sell him this week. In the 5th and final pitcher I look to sell and trade this week's Paul Blackburn of the Oakland Athletics. So he's on the list early in the season here as Blackburn. And hey, to be honest, he's been pitching great baseball, and he's upkeeping with the stats that he had early in the year. On the season, 71 1/3, 6-2 record, 60 hits, 18 earned runs, 17 walks, 51 strikeouts, 3 quality starts, a 2.26 ERA, and a 1.07 whip. In the last couple weeks here, 0.68 ERA and a 1.13 whip. So right here, he's been pitching lights out. I know that AL West isn't that strong besides the Houston Astros, and everyone else is pretty much under 500 or a mediocre team at best. But right here, he's not going to get many wins, even though I know he's got 6 on the season. But this A team, one of the worst teams in the league. He's pitching to a lot of contact, only 51 strikeouts in 71 innings. And those balls, they're going to start finding the hole, and they're going to be starting driven over the fences. The weather's been warming up over the last few weeks here. And Blackburn, he's also a guy that don't go crazy deep into ball games. The last few outings for him, June 8th versus Boston, 4 innings, got the loss, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks in that one. June 10th at the Guardians, 8 innings, no decision, 4 hits, no runs, a walk, 3 Ks, a quality start. And June 16th at the Red Sox, 5 1/3, got the win, 8 hits, a run, 2 walks, 4 Ks. So right here, not many quality starts under his belt. He's on an A team that's one of the worst in the league. And he's just a guy as well that hasn't gone crazy deep into ball games this season. So right now, while the ERA's low and he's got a good win-loss record, just like Jeffrey Springs, this is a perfect time to sell him off because when he travels to other American League ballparks, besides staying in the West over the next few weeks here, I think things are going to go the other way here for Blackburn. And right now, while he's at peak value and his stats are a little bit disguised as well like Jeffrey Springs, I would sell him off. And also, this Oakland A team, they're just not going to score many runs for him this season. So that's a few pitchers I look to sell and trade here for Week 11 of the fantasy baseball season.